is injustice happening here.
They said if I went along with it, that I could go home. They do us like this. What other way they ever do us? We should admit to something that we didn't do.
Okay. We keep fighting.
I was gonna name this video like When They See Us. I couldn't finish it. Like, seriously, I had to force myself to finish it. I had to pray, y'all. I had to pause, go to sleep. I slept with my light on one of the nights. Yes, I did. And my channel, guys. In today's video we will be reviewing When They See Us. Everyone has been asking me to review this movie or this mini documentary, and yeah, ain't none of y'all warned me though. This series was directed by Ava DuVernay, and I am a fan of her work, so this was something that I was just like, all right, you know, I got faith that this is gonna come through with the facts because it's Ava. We got Jharrel Jerome playing Corey Wise. We got Khalil Harris playing Antron McCray. We have Asante Black playing Kevin Richardson. We have Ethan Harris playing Yusuf Salam. And we have Marcus Rodriguez playing Raymond Santana. So these guys are known as the Central Park Five. This documentary is based on a true story and takes place in New York City Central Park in 1989. Now, I was not born yet. However, this is something that happens literally every single day. I know I'm usually high tempo, I'm usually very energetic, but this documentary really got me in my bag. I have my notes, so I'll be looking at my notes just to keep me on track. It's gonna be a lot to unpack. If you have not seen it yet, I wouldn't necessarily say that this is a spoiler alert because it is based on a true story and already happened. I'm pretty sure you guys, you know what happened already, but it might be a little spoiler alert as far as some detail. I'll be talking about the plot. I'll be talking about each of the boys and the roles that their families played, how the system failed them, and in certain circumstances how their families have failed them as well. Right into the plot, we see that there are these young black boys, a few Hispanic boys in New York City. You know, they're kind of in the street doing their own thing, and we get to see the different characters individually. We're at home with them. We see them interacting with their families, their friends, their love interests, and we learn that the men, with the exception of two characters, didn't even know each other. That's something that's really important to know, that like, listen, yeah, you're black and I'm black, but I don't even know who you are. I don't know you. I'm not associated or affiliated with you. Yet the crime that we're being charged with says that we're all friends, we're all thugs, we hung out together, and we committed this crime together. And they show Kevin Richardson, who was 14 at the time. He just came from trumpet practice. He played the trumpet. Fun fact, I also played the trumpet. Yeah, I can't remember nothing now, but I played the trumpet in elementary school and junior high school. But yeah, so we see Kevin and he's with his friend, you know, he's holding his trumpet, and they see this group of, you know, bigger guys running to the park, and he's kind of just like infatuated, like, oh my god, like, where are they about to go? I want to go with them. Kevin's character, like I said, he's 14, he's really timid. He runs home, he drops his trumpet off, and he's like, yo, I'm about to go back outside because all the cool guys are running to the park and I want to see what's going on at the park. I want to hang out. We see his mother hooked up to like a breathing machine. He covers his mother with a blanket and he runs out. So that's already a red flag for me. Because his mother was sick, he didn't have like someone that was active and aware and awake, you know, greet him home. How was school? How was band practice? What do you want for dinner? Now, he does have a sister who kind of plays like that mother figure. She did say she had to go to work. She also has her life that she has to live, and she has to make her money as well. Antron McCray. So we're at home with Antron. He's at the table with his dad. They're talking about sports. They're having a bonding moment. We see his dad loving on his mom. He comes from a two-parent home. His dad loves his mom. His dad loves him. But we also later on see him at the park with his group of friends as well. We're introduced to Raymond Santana. He's kind of hanging out with his pretty boy of the group. He's looking in the mirror like, oh yeah, you know, I look good. You know, the ladies love me. We meet young Corey Wise, who is with his girlfriend, and they're talking kind of like in an alleyway situation. She's like, you know, I eat school lunch. You know, if you came to school, you wouldn't be hungry. So we learned that he skipped school, or he's not in school for whatever reason, but he's 16. I just always have questions when I see people that be like, yeah, like, you know, he never did this and he never, I'll be like, so what were your parents doing? Because at that age, like, your parents are responsible for you. So I just be having questions like that. So he's chopping it up at the Crown Fried Chicken with his shorty, and Yusuf starts banging on the door like, yo, we going to the park, we going to the park, everybody going to the park, let's go, let's go, let's go. So his girlfriend is like, no, like, why are we going to the park? And he's like, yo, because my friends are going to the park. I'll be back, I promise, I'll be right back. Everybody's in the park with their own little cliques. Kevin gets to the park, he has no clique, it's just him, and he's kind of just like, all right, I'm at the park, like, what's good, what y'all doing in the park? Come on, these are young teenage boys, they're in New York City, it's nighttime, like, what really, like, really, why are y'all at the park? You know, there's always gonna be some sort of mischief, even if you're not the one causing the mischief. You're in a big group at a late night, y'all young. All the boys individually saw, you know, a different group of guys attack a white guy. Then, you know, whoop, 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 red, white, and blue. Cops are flooding the park. Operators saying 30 to 40 black males, some of them are Latino males in the park. So now everybody starts running in each which way. Kevin Richardson got caught and Raymond Santana got caught, and they got taken to the police station. Again, these boys are underage. Well, by law it's 16, but in my opinion, I don't think a minor should be interrogated without their parents there. Like, according to the law, once you're 16 and older, we can interrogate you without your parents or a lawyer being there. But these boys were 14 and 15. At most, these boys would probably get charged with like disorderly conduct. You know, y'all were in the park after a certain time, you know, a guy got beat up. So it's like, you know, y'all are just being mischievous in the park. Now this chick walks in, what's her name? Cause me and her got beef. So this chick walks in, Linda Fierstein. She walks in and guns blazing. There was actually an assault that took place in the park around the same time, but in a completely different area. There was a white woman who was jogging through the park. She got brutally beaten and she was raped, and she was literally hanging on by a thread. Fierstein now, she gets to the precinct and she's like, listen, we have a woman who's hanging on for dear life. What happened to her? When she found that there was a group of black boys in the park around the same time on the same day, she automatically connected the two and said, oh, it had to be them. There was no evidence, there was no nothing. These boys were just gonna go home on like some disorderly conduct or something like that. And she's like, you were gonna let these boys off? We have a woman that has been raped, and they did it. So that was like a huge jump out the window, and you can tell everyone was pretty much like, like, it's not that. Like, it's two different situations, but hell, we'll go with your story. The detectives immediately are like, yo, what do you know about the lady? What happened to the lady? Did you rape the lady? And they like, the lady rape? What lady? What are you talking about? Like, I was out in a park with a guy.
What lady?
Every black male who was in the park last night is a suspect.
Who are you talking about? Who was raped? I have no knowledge of what you're talking about. I don't want to give you guys every single little detail. I do want you guys to watch it, but as the story unfolds, we begin to see how crooked the detectives and the justice system really is. They're literally creating a story out of thin air. Y'all, there was no matching DNA. There was no evidence. There was no blood. There was no semen. There was nothing that matched these boys to this woman and her horrific incident that occurred. Literally nothing. And this woman still had in her head, like, no, we're gonna figure something out, because they had to have done it. Like, it was almost like psychotic. Like, she was really a psychopath. It was almost like she had a vendetta against black men, which a lot of people in her position do. They have this stigma, these stereotypes against black men, black people, and it really doesn't matter who you are as an individual. You're an animal, you're a number, and you're gonna go down for whatever I say you're gonna go down for. That's all the vibes that she was giving. She didn't care about the truth. She didn't care about nothing. It's, these boys did it. Let's figure something out to show that they did. So Yusuf gets stopped by the police. He's with his friend Corey Wise. They're like, you're 15 in the 11th grade. Like, where they do that? Corey comes over. Corey's like, yeah, you know, he's really smart. He got skipped some grades. Cops are like, yeah, I guess. And it's like, so I can't be smart. So the cops are going to take Yusuf. They're like, okay, you know, Corey's not on the list, but hey, do you want to come down with your friend? Do you want to come support your friend? And his friend is looking at him like, please come with me. You know, he's a little kid, like, please come with me. So he's like, all right, sure, child. Sometimes being a good friend will really cost you your life. I'm from New York. I can't. One thing that stuck out to me at this point with her was the word wilding. So someone wrote a report, I guess, and asked the guys like what happened, and they were like, oh, we were just wilding in the park. And so now she's like, oh, you know, what's wilding? What's wilding? She tries to use the word when she's talking to one of the boys. She's like, oh, you were wilding, huh? Like, what you don't know about someone and their culture and their language, it can easily be manipulated and seen as something else. The definition of wilding can be like your energy. Like, you can use wilding for anything that has to do with energy. Like, if you want to dance floor, you get in it. Oh, she wilding. You don't understand us. You don't understand us. You don't want to understand us. And you take what you want to take from what we've made to be culture. So we have these boys in these rooms. They're being interrogated. They're being manipulated. They're being brainwashed, not given any food. They're not giving any bathroom breaks. They're not allowed to sleep. And not only that, but they're being attacked. They're being physically attacked. And they're being told, listen, if you just admit to this, if you admit that you raped that woman, we'll let you go. 14 and 15-year-olds were less than just 24 hours ago. They've never had any trouble with the law. And now I'm sitting here being abused physically and verbally and being told that if I want to go home, this is what I have to say. These boys don't even necessarily know what rape is. Most of them are virgins at this time, but in the system, it doesn't matter. Whether you're 14 or 41, you're black and you're guilty. Another issue that I have, like, they didn't even see these boys as kids. Like, that saying, boys will be boys, it doesn't apply when you're a black boy. It applies when you're a white boy. It applies. You're a boy and you will be a boy. But when you're a black boy, you're a grown-ass man and you might be a criminal depending on the day of the week. Antron McCray, that's the 15-year-old who had his two parents in his home. Now, in the beginning, we saw his dad as a strong black man. You know, he loves his woman, he loves his son. We later learned that his father was actually incarcerated, and you know, he was convicted of something. I don't know what it was. And as they're getting to his son, they also begin to start getting to his father, head of the house, the king, the warrior, the protector. We see him go from that to just this like withered, unintelligent, indecisive little boy. We see him change from a man to a little boy. The detective begins to speak to him as if he's a little boy. The detective begins to try to blackmail him. Tell your son what you need to tell him so that he doesn't have the same past as you. He began to psychologically get into this father's head. So he goes in and he's like, listen, Antron, you need to say whatever they want you to say. You need to just comply with them because I don't want this to happen to you. And Antron's like, but dad, like, I didn't do it. Like, I don't want to say that I raped someone when I didn't. I can't believe like my dad is telling me this, like this strong man that's always taught me to be nothing but honest and to be, you know, kind and loving and truthful. Why would he tell me to admit to something that I did not do? And as the story continues to unfold, we just begin to see his father just pretty much, I mean, like, what are you doing, sir? He stopped coming to trial. He stopped being his support and his father. He blames himself for telling his son, you know, to lie. He blames himself for being a criminal. He blames himself for not being there. He blames himself for not being in control. He blames himself for failing his family. Now we see Yusuf's mom come through and she is like, where is my son? Y'all got a 15-year-old in there without a guardian. That's against the law. Bring me my son right here, right now. That's the type of energy I love. That's the type of energy I needed. That's the type of energy I was waiting for, because that's the type of time that I would be on if you got my son without me being here. Bring my son. I don't want to hear nothing else. I don't want to hear nothing else. Bring my son. Thank you. You will be hearing from my lawyer. Hugging on his mom, walking past, and we also see a shot of Corey Wise. Remember, his friend was 16, that his name was not on the list, just like sleeping, waiting for his friend. So they grab Corey Wise. He's like, yo, I'm just here because I'm just waiting for my friend. No, now you're gonna be interrogated. Oh, and you're 16? We don't need your parents here. We're gonna do whatever we want to do to you. Now, Corey Wise, you can kind of tell that he has some sort of disability. You begin to see that, okay, maybe he can't really read that well. He has some sort of speech impediment. And we know that he was not going to school regularly. Now, we also find out his mom was in the streets. He did have a LGBTQ plus brother who later identified as a woman. He was just walking in the street with his brother. People walked by and was like, you know, you faggot. And he was just like, you know, why do people look at you funny, or why do people call it? It's like he wasn't really that aware of the world as of yet. Like, they all really had very childlike mindsets at the time, because honestly they were children. But I do feel like he was a little bit more delayed than the rest of them. Now, Corey's character stuck out to me. Like, when I say like waterworks, the whole, I came on here, I was like, I'm not wearing makeup because I don't know how this is gonna go. I felt every moment. Like, I could not. It was just too hard to bear. Honestly, the only reason why I was able to get through it was when I typed it in on YouTube. I'll put the link in the description box, but I watched an interview of the actual men who endured this, and I watched them, and honestly, their strength and their truth allowed me to finish the documentary. Like, they were smiling, they were just like, yo, we went through this and it has made us better people. That's the only reason why I was able to do it. I could not. If I just saw that first, I was not finishing that. I could not finish the first episode. Anyway, and Jharrel Jerome was the actor that played Corey Wise, and I completely take my hat off to him. He played the shit out of that role, okay? He became Corey Wise. From beginning to end, my heart just broke for Corey. One, his name wasn't even on the list, so he wasn't even supposed to be picked up. He went because he went to support his friend and wait for his friend in the waiting area. They needed another guy. They dragged him in. Now he's in on it. On top of that, all of them are under 16. He's 16, so he's being tried as an adult and sentenced as an adult. So they're all together in a juvie cell, and this one kid is by himself. Meanwhile, even though he's older than them in age, he's so much younger than them mentally. So that right there, he had a disadvantage, being older, being isolated, and being tried as an adult. Now, I will say, like, their lawyers were building a great case. Like, even me knowing the outcome, I'm just like, there's no way a jury will find these boys guilty with no evidence, okay? No evidence, no DNA, no nothing that points them to this crime. In the end, they ended up getting sentenced to prison. The worst crime that you can commit and go to jail for is rape. So you have this 16-year-old with the mind of a 10-year-old going into an adult prison for a rape charge that he did not commit. Like, hell, he's getting beat up every day. He's been on his deathbed a few times. When I saw the jogger and I saw what happened to her and how she was raped and brutally attacked, it was just like, damn, like, that could be any woman, you know, running through the park and being attacked. Like, I don't want anyone to be attacked. But it's just like, damn, like, the way this prosecutor Fairfield, it was just like, you do not, like, you make it very clear, white women, you do not, you black filthy men, you do not put your hands, your thoughts, your energy, your anything onto our most preciousness, white women.
Black boys accused of raping a white woman with no evidence gets sentenced. White man who actually did assault white women becomes president of the United States.
When the jogger who was attacked, when she came and testified, that's what really swayed over everyone. Now, she did not remember anything. Like, she was brutally beaten. She did not remember anything. She said she can't remember, she can't smell, she can't walk, she could barely talk. She remembered nothing. Okay, so she never said that these boys did it. She never said that. What she said was, I don't remember. But this is how my life has changed forever due to what happened in that park. And it's like, well, so we can see you, we can sympathize with you, and we want to make sure that we get whoever did this. But how does that connect to that? We have to make it make sense. It's all based off of emotion, sympathy, and white tears. I'm not even gonna lie to you. That's really all you need. So we no longer see his father in the picture now, and it's always his mom. And you know what? His mom, oh my God, like those moments with his mom, it was so emotional for me. His mom was like, if you hurt, I hurt. If you cry, I cry. When you're free, I'm free. I was just like, Mama, you know I love you. You see how the four of them get out one by one. Antron goes home, his mom is there, and he sees his dad. And it's like, and his dad is like, he's home. It's like, don't touch me. Like, what is he doing here? Explains how he got really sick, so she allowed him to come back. And they have this conversation where, once again, Antron seems like the most logical thinking, adult when talking to his parent. How could you let him come back? What he did to me, what he did to you. And his mother's like, you know, well, I married him and we all make mistakes and blah, blah, blah. You gotta forgive. No, that moment, it made me look at her a little differently, because I was looking at her like, yes, you know, super mom saved the day. It made me think about like Black women and our relationships with Black men, and how sometimes it just doesn't matter what they do. It's like, I have to take him back. I have to take him back. I have to take him back. Like, no matter how much he shitted on me and my kids, I'm gonna take him back. That's my husband. That's my man. That's my babe. Girl, bye. No. So they're all out except Korey Wise. They're all out at this point, you know, and now we get to see what after prison is like. These guys are going back to the communities that pretty much were torn in half. Like, some people believe, some people didn't. Not everyone is following the case. They're reading the headlines, convicted of rape, and they're just, oh, you're a rapist, stay away from me. So you have people in the community that are like, yo, like, get away. And some people in the community that are really fighting, and they're like, we know you're innocent. We know you didn't do this. This is not fair. This is not right that this happened to you. However, opinions do not matter. Once you are labeled a sex offender, that will follow you for the rest of your life. So now we're seeing how these men cannot get jobs, how they can't really assimilate back into society because there's certain things that they cannot do. Episode 4 was mostly about Korey Wise. And again, just horrific, heartbreaking. We're seeing him in solitary confinement. We're seeing him move from prison to prison to prison. And we're also seeing the dynamic between him and his family, his mother and his sister. Unlike all the other visits, it was cold. Like, it was just like, hands folded, looking to the left. You okay? You all right? I'm trying to come up here. I can't, it's far. I don't have no money. Like, she's very cold, y'all, and I didn't understand because I didn't get cold from her during like the trial and stuff like that. But once he got convicted, it was just like cold mom city. Mother was ice, honey. The reason he kept moving from prison to prison is because he wanted to go to a prison that was closer to where his mom lived. I personally have never visited anyone in jail, but when I hear stories about people who do visit people in jail, it is not easy. It is very far, it's time consuming, and it's costly. And when he had a breakdown, he said to his mother, he was screaming, he's like, see me more, come see me more, please come see me more. Like, these people, they are human beings. They need human interaction. That's not people that possibly want to beat them up. That part, it really took me there. I was just crying, like, why isn't she going to see her son? Child, my heart is overwhelmed, I swear. You just see so much corruption happening on every level. You have the guards that allow you to get beat up. But one of the guards, I'm just gonna take a leap and say he was raping Korey, because he was just like, you know, what are you gonna do for me? So what are you gonna do for me? So what you gonna do for me? So what you gonna do for me? So what you gonna do for me? Like, what can I do for you? What? You need to be very specific. What do you want me to do for you? What's up? I'm pretty sure they didn't want to put that aspect into it, but I mean, in real life, that happens in prison. Many people say, you know, they were sexually assaulted by guards and other inmates. Nobody really wants to talk about, you know, their manhood being taken advantage of. People don't want to talk about that. I understand that. But when a guard kept hinting at what you gonna do for me, what you gonna do for me, I don't know, that gave me rapey vibes. So Reyes confessed, right? He's like, listen, I did it. It wasn't those 5 guys. It was me. He confessed. His DNA matched everything. There was never no other 5 people that had anything to do with anything. It was him. He did it alone, and he confessed because he converted to Christianity, and he just wanted to tell the truth. He didn't want anybody to be in jail for a crime that he committed alone. Remember the crazy psychotic prostitute she probably was that too. Prosecutor in the beginning, Fairfield, is her name? Fairstein. So they're telling her like, hey, this kid did it. And she's like, well, yeah, he did it along with the rest of them. Like, sis, you're really mental. You're crazy. So I'm just thinking, like, so during that time, like, y'all couldn't, was Matias Reyes, like, was he doing this throughout that time? So they get out, records clean. And they end up suing New York State. They sued New York State for, I believe, 41 million. Just double check, but it's really no amount of money that you can put onto that. There's really no amount of money that you can ever pay someone for wrongfully taking their youth. Like, I'm sorry. Like, yes, I will take the millions, but that ain't it. $41 million in 2014. So they would pay $41 million in 2014. And that's $41 million. I'm a little calculator at That's $41 million divided by 5. And also they had to pay their legal team. All those legal fees are not cheap. This was a 6-month trial. So that's not cheap. It's no amount of money that anybody could ever pay me to make me go through that. So they were charged for assault, robbery, riot, rape, sexual abuse, and attempted murder. I found this article and I will also link it in the description box, and it says, "When They See Us" sparked a boycott against Central Park 5 prosecutor Linda Fairstein, the psychopathic lady. So a hashtag started going viral on Twitter: cancel Linda Fairstein. Now this is for all people that hate the cancel culture. Y'all know I love it. But guess what? It worked in our favor this time, okay? So hashtag cancel Linda Fairstein calls for publishers and booksellers to stop supporting Fairstein, who became a novelist. So after all of this, she retired and she became a novelist. It says, today, Fairstein is a novelist. Fairstein lives in Manhattan. Oh, I bet not see her in Manhattan. And Martha's Vineyard, and has written a series of books about the protagonist, Alexandra Cooper, a fictional Manhattan assistant district attorney. Her most recent, Blood Oath, was released just last month. Her books have been New York Times bestsellers and have been translated to 12 languages. Ugh, girl, bye. No, I'm not buying nothing that you're selling, lady. A little bit of tea for y'all. Filmmaker DuVernay reached out to Fairstein when she was working on the miniseries. Fairstein tried to control how she was portrayed. Okay, I bet she was, because she's seen as a little witch that she was. She tried to control how she was portrayed, according to DuVernay. You know, you read something like this, you watch something like this, you know, you realize that these things happen literally every single day. Like, so many Black people are lost in the criminal system for crimes that they did not commit. Now, I'm not saying nobody committed the crime. I'm pretty sure people committed the crime, right? There's evidence. But in cases where there's no evidence, why am I guilty? Why am I guilty if there's no evidence? There's nothing that says that I did it. Why? Because of how I look, because of where I am. I'm a thug. I'm guilty. Really reconsidering having kids after watching this. Like, I'm not even gonna hold y'all. Like, I'm reconsidering it. And y'all pray for me, because this really broke my heart. Like, this rocked my freaking world. This broke my heart. And I've seen some things, okay? But this really had me in a different mental space. It was just like, it was traumatic for me watching, so I can't even imagine going through that, being a sister, being a mother. I don't know if I could be that strong. I don't know if I could. I just don't know. And I don't want this world to take my babies. I don't. Like, I don't want to think about stuff like that. You know, after this, I was like, oh, maybe I, you know, could become a lawyer, and it's not. I'm too emotional. If I don't believe you, I can't be a lawyer. Like, I don't know if that's good for me. I don't know. But this really had me thinking, like, y'all not taking my babies. Like, this world is not taking my babies. You're not. Y'all gonna have to take me, and that's gonna be no good to them. So it's like, say shout out to you guys that are parents. It's not easy to be a parent, as I can see. It's not easy to be a parent. I'm praying. Oh, hi. Pretty much sums up this review. I know it's super long. Honestly, I'm proud of myself for even getting through it, honey. I don't even want to do this review. This is so heavy. Like, this is really heavy. These men are now free, you know, that their stories have made them better people. So we as Black people, we have to know what we don't have to do and what we have to do. We need to have savings. Like, we need to have good credit. We need to have a savings account, because you never know when something is going to happen in life. And I think it's just the worst thing on earth. Like, oh, well, if you have money, you can get bail and you can leave. But if you don't have money, you can't get bail and you have to sit there. So this is a money game. This is all about money. When we talk about state sanctioned violence, I thank God for his grace that changed the heart of the actual man who did the crime and made him confess. Because honestly, he could have just went his whole life without confessing, sitting in jail right across from the dude that did the crime that he actually did. So I thank God for the confession, that they're free today, that they're able to tell their stories and grow and prosper. Most of them have children and wives and families, and it's just beautiful. It's beautiful. But girl, y'all let me know what y'all thought of this series. Were you able to finish it? What did you take from it? What did you give, honey? I just don't know what to say. But let's just talk down in the comment section, and I'll see you at the next one.